Hello, lovely people. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Live Remixed Samples here on a Tuesday evening. Every Tuesday evening, I will be talking to people about Live Remixed Samples and sharing part of the book with you. More than happy to have you guys with me and hoping, of course, that you'll get involved and share some of your own experiences. So, Life Remix Samples, chapter 2 of the book. Last week I looked at chapter 1, and chapter 2 was obviously how I. Chapter 1 was obviously how I collapsed and had a shocking moment in my life. One of my friends calls it nature's handbrake. Literally, when you just like, stop, think about what you're doing. It was all of that. That was chapter 1, and it was a very instant collapse because it was a physical collapse, and then it very slowly got hold of me over about the next 18 months where I was unable to walk and got very thin and things were bad, really bad. I was very sick. So we have to go into a few more things about what's actually happened here. How did this actually happen? But the most important thing to start with, I'm getting a few good evenings. How you doing, Kieran? Nice to have you on board, mate. Yeah, great to have you here. And so if you are putting a comment into the comment, please put your name next to it, unless you've gone to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and then I'll be able to see your name when you write in the chat box, because we're live across about 10 different platforms at the moment, just talking about the book tonight and talking about Live Remix Samples. Throughout the week, we do Ask Mark Anything on a Sunday. We do Monday Motivation. We do Live Remix Samples on a Tuesday night. I might even do a bit of Wednesday motivation tomorrow morning. We'll see how we go. And then tomorrow evening, I'll be interviewing Dimple Thakrar, a relationship expert, and she's awesome. Very, very close to Tony Robbins in the Platinum members there. Dimple is fantastic on relationships. You're going to absolutely love that. So do put your messages in the chat box, guys. It's great to hear from you, and do let me know who you are. Excellent, mate. Thank you, Kieran. Lovely, lovely to hear from you, mate. I'm really pleased you're giving me some support there, brother. We'll be talking again very soon, I'm sure. So I think it's really important to talk about chapter 2 of the book. We did chapter 1, and we spoke about the disease and the start of the disease and the problem and the way things started to go bad. But chapter 2 is called Good Times. Chapter 1 was called Another One Bites the Dust. Chapter 2 is Good Times. Hi, Lucy. How you doing? It's great to have you with us. Thank you for being here. So chapter 2 is Good Times because I was fortunate enough to be born in 1970. Yeah, I have just turned 50 this year. Few grey hairs, nothing too bad. 1970, I was born. 1988, when acid house exploded into London, I was 18 years of age, and I was the right age. I had the right skills. I had a bit of money in my pocket, and I was able just to enjoy. I basically could kick the day job to the curb and just enjoy house music and enjoy London and the buzz of what was going on. I had the skills, I bought the music, and I then fell basically into DJing. So it was amazing. I was very, very fortunate at that time. Perfect timing for me to be there. And as I say, chapter 2 is called Good Times to the book. And I'm just going to pick out a few bits as we go through. Funnily enough, I was actually doing the edit. We're doing the second edit of the moment of the book. The first 2 quotes, I love to put some quotes at the start of every chapter. This one's from Joe Abercrombie. It says, "Strange how the best moments of our lives we scarcely notice except in looking back." That's interesting, that. That's very interesting, because when we look back, that's when we sort of notice some of the best moments. At the time when you're in the thick of it, you can just get lost in it. So that's Joe Abercrombie. This one's a beauty as well. "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened." That's a great one, isn't it? Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. That was from Dr. Seuss, that one, believe it or not. But it was 1990, chapter 2 starts. It was 1990. I was 20 years old and I got a phone call. I'm sitting on the end of my bed with my first love next to me. And I got this phone call basically saying, "Hi, we'd like you to DJ." I was like, "Okay, where? Who are you?" And they said, "Oh, would you come to Paris for next weekend for like £1,000? I was like 20 years old. I had to have a little think about it, of course, and I was like, "Yeah, all right then, I'll be there." And it was amazing. I was still living at home with my mum. We were in a leafy suburb of southwest London. Those of you that know me, I was brought up in Hampton Hill, born in Chiswick, brought up in Hampton Hill. I'm sure it'd be much cooler to say I was in the ghetto, the rougher, tougher, part. It wasn't. It was posh. It was a lovely part of Richmond upon Thames, bordering onto a bushy part. It was okay. But there was lots of other things that were going on around the family and everything else, and I touched on a lot of that in the chapter 2 that we are talking about tonight. So I answered that phone. I went on that journey into Paris to DJ, and it was just amazing. It was an amazing gig, lots of memories, and there was a lot of things that happened over that time. I gave up that lifestyle of the 9 to 5, basically, good times. Yeah, gave up the 9 to 5, and started to get into music and got into DJing. I was fortunate, as I say, to be in the right place at the right time with the right skills. I bought myself. Some of you will have seen the Instagram post earlier, or we put it onto some of the Facebook of my old orange Ford Cortina Mark V. Wow, what a car that was. One of my mates said that we used to cram into it. Yeah, we did. Hi, Jason. Good to have you on board, mate. But yeah, so we used to cram into my orange Ford Cortina Mark V and cruise around, going to gigs and stuff like that. It was fascinating times, interesting stuff, and we had a good time. We really did. Hi to Emma as well. Great to have you with us. Just do share the stream or share the video if you can to your friends, guys. That's great. So I learned to DJ. I had this car. I went around down to every single club I could go to, and I learned to DJ. I had 2 Citronic belt-driven, basically crap record decks, and an old mixer. But I learned to blend 2 records together, beat matching. And I remember the first time I did it, and I recorded it onto a cassette, and I took it around to my friend Guy's house, and I said, "Listen to this." And I just seamlessly mixed 2 records together, and he was like, "That's amazing." At the time, it was amazing, I promise you. It was really important, and it was a big moment, a big step forward for me, because once I'd learned to mix records together with my choice of music, I started to push myself out into the DJ world, and people got to know me. It was a pure time of absolute hedonism. We were living young people's dreams. I was living the young man's dream, and I just could hang out in record shops. I could buy vinyl. I could just get involved. Hi, Em. Thanks for being with us. It's great. I always knew you when you was younger. We got involved in the madness in 88, 89. Oh, yeah, we certainly did. It was chaos in 1988. And for me, it carried on pretty much until I was about 33, and that's when I collapsed. I had about 15 years of partying. The party went on for 15 years. I found a way to make money and DJ and travel the world and do all this stuff. And it was some of it was hilarious. I mean, it was so much fun. And there's some great stuff, that I've put into the book here that you'll all get to read. I've got a few inspiring DJs. Let me know if any DJs that kind of got you guys really, in the zone. Danny Rampling was one of my favorites, of course. Danny being the founder of Shoom, and largely is responsible, along with Nicky Holloway, Pete Tong, and Nicky Holloway, Johnny Walker, and Paul Oakenfold, for bringing house music back into London from Ibiza, the summer of 87, 88. So Danny was there, of course, and Danny's written part of the forward to Life Remixed, which I'm absolutely blessed. What a legend to write part of the book forward for us. Terry Farley, I remember Terry always had the best choice of tunes back in the day. Fantastic. Used to love his DJing. Express 2, of course, good friends of mine, Rocky, and then Diesel and Ashley, when they used to play on the 4 decks and the 2 mixers to really expand the sound, and Express 2 produced some amazing records as well, didn't they? Music Express, London Express, Musicism, and this goes on, and then Lazy, of course. I mean, fantastic records that Express 2 produced. Frankie Knuckles, of course. Frankie Knuckles, the founder of house music from his days at the Warehouse in Chicago. I miss Frankie to this day. I miss Frankie every time. I mean, Frankie Knuckles to me was just a wonderful, wonderful DJ, playing that soulful, uplifting American house sound just seamlessly for hours. I could listen to Frankie, and I did listen to Frankie many times for many, many hours. What a guy, what a DJ. We miss him. R.I.P., of course. Tony Humphreys. Tony used to mix tracks together from his New York City radio show, his NYC radio show. We used to listen to those tapes over and over and over again. And then CJ McIntosh, of course, we used to call CJ the governor at Ministry of Sound. He was just the seamless, British DJ who just could outdo the Americans in some ways. He was amazing. So we used to love CJ. He always used to turn up at like 6 a.m. at Ministry of Sound. It was great times to listen to CJ DJing. Norman J, MBE now, of course, Norman, but known for obviously good times at Carnival, but just those sweet, soulful sounds. Couple of others, Roger Sanchez. I always used to like listening to Roger. I still do. He's a good DJ, very, very talented. And I remember the first time I heard Sasha as well, when he came down to Bracknell at Shave Your Tongue, and he just smashed the place. It was phenomenal. It was really, really memorable. So there's a few DJs, of course. They all had their own style. They could all mix consistently. And we used to travel, didn't we, all across the country to hear all these DJs, as house music just grew and grew and grew. It was just exciting times. So, do share if you've got any DJs that remind you of those kind of times. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I cried so much when Frankie died. Yeah. It was just sad. And also the other day as well, when Andy Weatherall passed as well, I actually sat at my desk and cried when Andy passed as well. Just sad times, legendary people making great music, living a great life, and taken too soon. So it's important. It's important what we're doing here. It's really, really important that we learn to remix our lives and choose to be here for as long as we possibly can, guys. I think that's what the whole purpose is about. It's about improving ourselves and doing better every day so that we can live a long and happy life. And maybe I might get up to Captain Tom's age. You never know. But anyway, keep those fingers crossed. But the bottom line is I kept practicing. I kept DJing. I kept making cassettes. I was giving out, if you remember what a tape, I used to give out the tapes and pass them out to DJs and promoters, and people used to play them a lot after parties. It's a whole big thing of like my records, or my tapes being played at after parties. And that was great. That was really great, because what it meant was that, people were listening to me and listening to my music and enjoying it. And then they'd be talking about things like, okay, great. I'm listening to Mark Wilkinson. This is brilliant. Hi, Dale. Great to have you on board. I've just gone to the other page so I can see who's commenting. So thanks all, guys, for putting your comments in here. It's great to hear from you guys. And hi, Julia. Lovely to have you with us. We all used to love an after party, didn't we? We all loved an after party. I used to give out my cassettes at after parties, and people used to listen to them. And word got around, and people were like, "Have you heard that latest Mark Wilkinson tape?" And it was like, "Yeah, okay." And it wasn't long before I was getting calls for gigs, and that was beautiful. That was exciting, and what a place to be! What a place to be! Exactly the right age, as I said, with all the tools and all the skills, and a big smile on my face to bring some joy to other people with dance floors. So, as I say, chapter 2 is good times. But, we have to go back and look a little bit at childhood, because childhood always impacts all of us. I share plenty of stories in the book. One of the things I always remember is the first time I heard my mum playing like Elvis and the Beatles when I was like 6. And the songs, I always remember the uplifting, the buzzy songs. I didn't like the ballads so much. I was all about these songs that were just like, whoa, when they're really going for it and playing their instruments and stuff. I was like, this is amazing. Get the goosebumps up the back of the back of my neck and everything. I was like, oh wow. And music it did something for me long before I found sex, drugs and house music or anything like that. Music it spoke to me. It just uplifted me. And that's what the chapter starts with. It starts with good times, and it starts with learning about the things that get us going and get us buzzing. There's a lot of stuff about obviously my dad. My dad had a lot of health problems and died when I was young. My dad died when I was like 19, and that was challenging because much as I wanted it, there wasn't the strong male guidance there, and that was sad. He was 50 when I was born. Mum was 25. Go, Dad. But the point is that it was tough. It was tough, and there were some difficult times. And my dad had physical and mental health issues, which he served in the Second World War. Both his brothers were killed. There's stuff like that that's really tough and impacted on my family. I believe he had undiagnosed PTSD after World War II. So look. That's part of the history, right? It's part of the history of everything that's happened, and it's important to share it. But I was always a bit of a tearaway at school. I I was always a bit of a tearaway at school. I didn't concentrate too much. I didn't concentrate too hard. All my school reports used to say Mark's an intelligent boy, but he doesn't apply himself. He's not very focused. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. That's history right there. But the point is that, you live, you learn, you grow. And I had to go through all these challenges to become the person I am today. There's a bit about traveling as well. I used to love traveling around for DJing, of course, and also traveling around for Chelsea matches. I used to, love that. I still do. Going these lax focus. Yeah, you're not wrong. Thanks for sharing that, whoever that was. That was Lucy. Yeah. Definitely. I can lack focus from time to time. That's for sure. But it's important now. I've overcome that. Certainly when I was younger, it was more of a challenge. Now I've got better at it. But anyway, as we go forward, I used to enjoy the travel, I used to enjoy the camaraderie. I used to enjoy being around all my mates, going to football, going to parties, discos. And then obviously Acid House started, and it was just phenomenal. I remember going to a lot of, I remember the dot. Yeah, focus. That's it. I always talk about, the change of time. I was into soul and hip hop in the 80s, and then I got into house music. But the difference was from the aggressiveness that was going on in sort of, hip hop jams and discos, all that kind of stuff, those kind of things. And then to walk into a house rave, an acid house rave, whatever you want to call it, but to walk in and just the fact all of a sudden some big sweaty bloke comes up and starts cuddling me, it's better that than someone trying to give me a dig. And I just thought that was really, it was just a beautiful moment. And I wasn't the only one caught up in it. Clearly, thousands, if not hundreds of thousands over the next 15, 20 years, we all went with it. We all went with house music. We all got, into it for various reasons. And it carried us away in many ways. But of course, for me, there was some addictive issues. I did get addicted to a few things, as I've mentioned before, and those addictions, unfortunately, they got hold of me. They did get hold of me, and we'll talk more about that as we go through. There is a little disclaimer. Are you ready? There is a little disclaimer in chapter 2, which actually says, "What you're about to read are the actions of a professional idiot." Yeah, that's me. That's the young me. I was young, so that can be my only excuse. These are my own personal experiences and personal opinions about substances, including, and you'll have to read the book about all of that. Believe me, some of these experiences were so uplifting, they are hard to put into words. And others were so bad, I'd really rather have not experienced them. I think that's important. I think that's important to share. I was lucky I wised up when I did, to be honest. However, I only wised up when nature's handbrake hit me and took me down. And I think that's important as well. So there is a disclaimer there, but then we get into the summer of 1989, and I was standing in a barn on the outskirts of Windsor with 1,000 other young people. Those of you that remember that particular party, you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. Because that was a memorable party. I think it was Respect. Respect were at they did the Didcot train museum as well, but they certainly did this party in Windsor. Andy Weatherall was DJing. Fantastic nights, fantastic memories. So I share all this in the book because I think it's really important. It's a moment in history, and as I say, Danny Ramplin's written part of the forwards to the book. I think it's really important that we acknowledge the history that we were there. We were in the thick of it. We were at the birth of house music in the UK, the 15-year party that carried on after it. But I'm getting some great comments from you guys here. Bray Studios, Eton. Yes, that was a great one. I'm getting some fabulous comments here. That's Dale. Thank you, Dale. Yes, absolutely. Hi, Emma, as well. Yeah, wonderful. It's all good. There was some brilliant parties there. Go Dad, Leah. Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Matt. Hi, Johnny Moy. Greetings from Dublin. Thanks, Johnny, for joining us. Hi, Danielle, as well. It's great to have you with us. Like so many of you online this evening. Thanks for putting your comments on, trying to keep up with it all. So chapter 2 is good times. I've been reflecting a bit about the fact there were some great times. I started drinking alcohol when I was 14. Someone gave me a sip of alcohol and I liked it. I was like, yeah, that's all right. I'll have some of that. But you know, there was other things that kind of happened in a chain and just sort of continued. And my addictive personality found a way to support my addictions. The respect part you mentioned was Brave Studios. You're saying Brave Studios, guys. That's really interesting. I don't believe it was Brave Studios. There were great parties at Brave Studios. I remember because I definitely went to one. But there was another one that was just in a barn in the middle of nowhere. It was near a Windsor. I can't remember. Maybe you're right. I might have to go back into my memory banks there to have a look at that. But thank you for sharing, guys. I really appreciate that. Hi, Ariane. Thank you for joining us. It's lovely to have you here as well. So yeah, look, you know, we had these big trips. The non-stop raving years is all covered in chapter 2. Many of you will identify with a few things here that I've been sharing. But I was then fortunate enough to land a job. Yes, please do send me the flyer. Yes. I'm guessing that might be Dale. But yes, please send me that flyer. That would be amazing to see, because I remember the visual of it. So actually, if you send me that, I can then actually put that into the book as well, because we're still doing the second edits. We're still doing the first edit, so the second edit's still to come. So it'd be amazing to have that that flyer, because I remember that picture clearly. I remember it very well, because they had it up on the wall in the barn, and it blew my mind. But anyway, there you go. There I was doing my DJing, traveling 65 countries, doing all this amazing stuff. And I landed a job in Flying Records, and I worked with some amazing guys. I worked with Lofty in there, Brandon was in there, Rocky, Dean Thatcher. I mean, you name it, Scott Braithwaite, all the great guys that I used to work with in Flying. They used to laugh at me because I used to play all the piano scream ups, but I didn't care. I loved it. It was great fun. So what I would say is that, you know, that was a great time in my life. I actually worked there for about 7 years. I worked at Flying Records in the end, from the age of about 19 to 25, or 18, 19 to 25, 26. There I was in Flying Records. We were in Kensington to start with. We moved up into Soho after that. Both amazing times. Really loved working, selling records and playing records at the weekend. I was a vinyl junkie in the biggest sense of the word. And then I got offered, one of my friends, Justin, who's now down in Australia at the moment. Justin came into the shop one day and asked me if I'd like to become resident at Ministry of Sound. And I said, yes, I would like that. That would be awesome. So I was really pleased to have that opportunity and to become resident DJ at Ministry of Sound. The pictures are there. We used them obviously on some of the promo. They're on the website, markwilkinsonofficial.com, if you go there. But the point is that becoming resident at that club at that time in 1995 was just a beautiful moment for me. I remember standing on in the main room of Ministry of Sound, where CJ McIntosh stood most weeks, or Frankie Knuckles stood other weeks, and there's all these legendary DJs, and then here's me playing some songs, you know, and it was just like mind-blowing to me to be there. And I'll be honest, most of the time I was like shaking a bit. I was like, oh God, you know, a bit of imposter syndrome, I'm not worthy and all that kind of stuff. But I did well. And particularly in the Ministry of Sound bar, I used to absolutely smash the bar. You know, there'd be times when you know, the bar would be absolutely packed and everyone dancing on the bar, and it'd be like 8:30 in the morning and we're still going. So yeah, that was an amazing time to be that. To be in there. Yes, Julia. Yeah, you can't beat the dance you walk down the tunnels at the Ministry. Yes, we all need to get back there. We all need to get back there as soon as we can. It would be amazing to have a party again, I'm sure. Yeah, it's fun times, and it's important. It's an important thing. You know, dancing is an expression. It's something we are social beings. We're collective beings. We want to be together. You know, we want to be together. That's why this year is so weird. You know, but it's also perfect timing for me to bring out this book in early 2021, because ultimately, you know, Life Remixed is my own personal journey to get through a crisis, and it's helped me with the strategies to be able to get through the crisis and actually come back and bounce back to be happy, healthy and wealthy. And you can all do it. Anyone can do it. If you're down at the moment, it's not the end of the world. You know, you're not down until you say you're down. You're not down until you're beaten, and you're not beaten. It's just a moment. So we can come through this. I promise you we can come through this. So because I did it myself, so I've got the strategies, guys, and it's here. You know, there's a lot of stuff that we can share. So I kept DJing, I kept working, I kept traveling, and the early part of my life I was into hedonism and instant gratification. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about there. It's all in the book anyway, but I wasn't living in the present. I was always blaming others. I was looking back at anger at my upbringing. I was worrying about the future. You know, would I be able to keep DJing? Would I have enough money? I didn't have any assets. I didn't have any trade. I was always worrying. I was always, angry or having problems. I could never make a relationship work. We are going to be talking to a relationship expert tomorrow night live at 7:30 with Dimple Thakrar. I can't wait for you to meet her. She is awesome. She's awesome. Dimple is just great. You're going to love her. So really, really great that she's going to be with us tomorrow night. But I'd also be upset. I would be unhappy. I wasn't getting as many gigs or as much support or success as I thought I could deserve or that I thought I could achieve. So I drank a lot of alcohol and took some drugs just to escape myself, to escape the thoughts. I wanted to escape my thoughts. I wanted to get away from them, and I literally getting out of my head, out of my thoughts, laughing a lot. And admittedly, having some good times in there, not everybody did, but I was fortunate enough, and many people were that were okay. But ultimately, me, the guy behind the decks in the middle of the dance floor, heavily addicted to alcohol, sex, drugs, and house music, I was masking a lot of unhappiness. And the brutal truth is, I didn't really like me. I didn't really like me. I was just struggling through, surviving. Yes, I was having some fun, distracting myself, but actually, I wasn't really liking myself very much. So that's mainly the story of chapter 2, and obviously, there's a lot more detail in the book. It's great to have so many of you putting the comments in the boxes and that, guys. I'm really loving all of the feedback I'm getting from you. It's almost overwhelming, but I love it. Yes, it is about grief. I didn't deal with grief in a good way, and there was a lot of it in my younger life. So you're right, Leah. You're absolutely right. So a few remix opportunities. It's the things that I've had to learn, and I hope that there'll be good things for you guys and just something to think about, because it is about strategies. Life Remixed is okay. Here's all the stupid shit I did. And here's all the things I did to fix it. And these are all the things that you can apply into your own lives that would work for you, because they've worked for me. I promise you, they've worked for me like night and day, and it's beautiful. So remix opportunity. So have you got a story, and are you sticking to it? And do you blame other people for the problems? Do you blame other people for the stories, for the problems? It's very important. I've got this story. It did happen to me. I take full responsibility for it, and that's how I've changed it. And one of the things that everyone has to understand is that, we're all out there operating with certain laws, and you have to understand the laws to be able to then work them properly. And I'm not talking about the laws the government are talking about. I'm talking about universal laws. So what is your story? Are you blaming someone else for the problems or anything else like that? If you are, we can talk about you taking some responsibility or full responsibility ultimately, because that is proper leadership of yourself. Next question, or next remix opportunity. What's your relationship like with your parents? It is important. It's important in many ways that you understand it and then move on from it. And the next one, I might explain this a bit more detail. As I say, we're just going through the edit at the moment. I might well go into this in more detail. But if I ask you the question, have you left home emotionally? What would you say? It's really important. Have you left home emotionally? Now, for me, I did some therapy many years ago, and my therapist actually asked me the question. He said to me, have you left home emotionally? I said, what are you talking about? He said, I get people sitting in front of me that are in their 60s that have still not left home emotionally. They're still worrying, and they're still like thinking, what would their mum and dad say? Even at 60. You've got to leave home emotionally. You've got to let your parents go. You've got to forgive them. You've got to love them. You've got to accept them. And we're going to go through all these strategies. I promise you, every Tuesday, we're going to be talking about strategies and things we can do to cope and move and grow. But have you left home emotionally is a big one. It was a big one for me. So next one, are you thinking and deciding everything for yourself, or are you listening to everyone else? How much time do you spend watching the news? How much time do you spend listening to everyone else? Yeah, there's a lot of negative crap about, there's a lot of stuff you don't even need to know about, but we're getting pumped full of it all the time. So are you thinking and deciding everything for yourself, or are you just listening to society? There was a great success guru who said that if you watch what everyone else is doing, do exactly the opposite and you'll be successful. Remember that, okay? Do exactly the opposite of what everyone else is doing, you'll be successful. Just think about it. Are you running away from something, someone, or even yourself? Are you running away from yourself and your own emotions? It's a big one, big question to answer. The last 2 remix opportunities, I have to ask the questions because they're things that I had to ask myself before I could be free and move forward and be happy. Are you self-medicating with anything, including alcohol? It's important to understand. It's important to understand because there's certain things that can take you down and there's certain things that can lift you up. But self-medicating is something that is basically not allowing you to get to the problem. So later on in the book, I'll tell you that I gave up alcohol completely. I found myself at 33, 34 years of age, almost emotionally like a teenager, because I hadn't dealt with any of those emotions from the time I started drinking at 14 to the time I stopped drinking at 33, 34. And that was strange. That was really weird. That took me a while to kind of get my head around it, but I had to go through all those emotions that I bottled up when I started drinking a lot of alcohol. So I hope this is resonating with you guys, and some of you, I hope it's helping, because at the end of the day, my job is just to help other people with strategies. The last one, remix opportunities for the chapter 2. After all the good times, all the ups, all the downs, everything that's gone on, it's in the chapter 2. And by the way, chapter 3 is called Lost in Music, because I was. But chapter 2 is basically, you must commit to your dream if you're going to live your dream life. I did commit to my dream. I did commit to not working 9 to 5 in some office. I left the bank at 17. I was like, get me out of here. I actually had, funny enough, I think it might be in chapter 3, I actually had a real life David Brent moment where the boss was sitting opposite me and I was like 17. And he said, Mark, he said, maybe you don't want to leave the bank. In a few years' time, you could be sitting here with me. And I was like, I'm done, mate. See you later. I'm out of here. So, you've got to commit to your dream. If you want your dream, you've got to commit to it. You've got to find a way. And there is a way. 20 years of DJ plus was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The wheels did come off, and I'll explain more as we go through. But ultimately, I did live that dream life. I'm now equally as committed, if not more. I'm more committed now to my dream life, but it's my dream life with happiness, health, and wealth. And it feels good. It really does feel good. And I want that for all of you guys. Honestly, I really want it for all of you guys. It's so important. Hi to Mark. Thanks so much for all of the comments, guys. I'm absolutely loving everything that's coming through here. I just want to read that as well. Yes, you do need to follow your heart and your dreams. I'm finally making a house track, and I hope one day you'll be playing it. I love that. That's amazing. That's amazing. Of course, I can't wait to hear it. Honestly, I can't wait to hear it. I love creativity. I love people being in a position where they can do something and they can actually get themselves out there and show the world what you're good at. It's so important. It's so important. So listen, that's it for tonight, guys. I love all the interaction. Thank you all so much. Do watch these back. They're all available on all the Facebook, the LinkedIn, everywhere. They're on the YouTube channel, Mark Wilkinson Official. You can also go to markwilkinsonofficial.com for a few free downloads we've got there for things that can help you balance out your life. We've also got liferemixed.co.uk. You can sign up there for more information. And I'm pleased to say we are going to have a pre-order link for the book in the coming weeks. So that's really exciting. Just before Christmas, we're going to drop a pre-order link. The book's actually out in February, but we're going to have a free giveaway and a few other things for you, because ultimately, the support that you guys are giving me and the fact that you're all here and listening and interacting is absolutely wonderful. And I cannot appreciate it more than I do. I'm here for you guys to help. We've got big dreams and big goals to help so many people. Ariane says, wow, you're being so authentic. It's the only way to be. It's the only way to be. Let's just be real. Let's just be real with each other, all of us. Let's just share everything that's happened and then deal with it and then move forward. Because that's all I've done for the last 12 years. I've overcome my own personal crises, disease, bankruptcy. I've overcome all of that. And I think for me, you can change it. You can change the negatives. You can choose more positive thinking. And like I said to you, before, if some of you have seen this before, if you knew the power of a negative thought, you'd never have another one. If you knew the power of a negative thought, you would never have another one. Because all my negative thoughts came true. And with them, they took me down. So I was like, right, okay, I need to have more positive thoughts. If I have, and I just thought, actually, I thought if I have more positive thoughts, perhaps I'll have a more positive life. I wasn't sure. No one could tell me, but I just thought, well, I'll follow some instructions and see what happened. And I read some books, got myself together, worked on my inner self. And today I'm more successful and happier than I've ever been. So I want to send you all huge amounts of love. It's amazing to see you all here. Thanks all so much. If you do go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and you just do a couple of clicks, I'll be able to see all of your names when you're typing instead of me having to see Facebook user. But yes, you are what you think. You're absolutely right, and that is powerful. I thought myself into a wonderful 20-year DJ career. I thought myself into resident Ministry of Sound. I thought myself into remixing Lou Reed and David Bowie and making a top 10 hit. I thought myself into writing Life Remixed. I thought myself into all of it. And you can bring about whatever you think about. So I'm going to leave it there, but I'm going to send you so much love. It's been wonderful tonight. It's made my night to be with you. I might even come back at 8 o'clock in the morning for a bit of a motivational Wednesday, or perhaps a well done Wednesday. Perhaps I need to find someone to say something well done about. But we do motivational Mondays at 8 a.m. We do on a Monday. We also do Tuesday nights at 7:30, where we do these Life Remix samples. We do Wednesday night. I've got Dimple with me tomorrow night. You're going to love Dimple. We're going to talk about relationships, and that's going to be fascinating. And that's a great comment there. Isn't it funny how the people who have had the toughest times are the most inspiring? Let me just finish with this quote from chapter 1. I'll go back. There's a chapter 1, and it says in one of my quotes, I always start the chapter with a quote. And I need to find it now. I've picked it up. Here it is. No. Here it is. Come on. Wow. I write a lot. I talk a lot and I write a lot. Here it is. Okay. It's from BC Forbes, who's the founder of Forbes magazine in the States. And he says, history has demonstrated that the most notable winners usually encountered heartbreaking obstacles before they triumphed. They won because they refused to become discouraged by their defeats. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? They won because they refused to become discouraged by their defeats. Let me share with you as well. Most millionaires were bankrupt in their 30s. So I've ticked that box. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Life is wonderful. You can remix it. You can change it. You can. Too many people think it's just down to fate. It's not. You can actually make yourself, successful and happy and healthy. And I'm here to help, guys. I love you all. I'll be back in the morning, I think, because I'm loving doing these. And thank you all so much for the feedback. It's great. I'll just pop onto the chats now and say hello. But I'll be back at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning and again at 7:30 tomorrow evening with Dimple Thakrar. See you later, guys.